A single butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil could set off a tornado in Texas. This famous statement by Edward Lorenz, the father of chaos theory, encapsulates the butterfly effect, a concept that emerged from his research on weather patterns. Originally rooted in meteorology, the butterfly effect has reshaped human understanding across politics, business, and everyday life. It has even been interpreted through the lens of causality and integrated into popular culture. The theory stems from the idea that a tiny mistake can lead to massive consequences. Edward Lorenz was born in Connecticut, USA, on May 23, 1917. From a young age, he was fascinated by numbers and drawn to the ever-changing patterns of weather. He later graduated from Dartmouth and Harvard, yet remained an extraordinarily reserved person. Colleagues often said that striking up a conversation with Lorenz was challenging, and he rarely wrote letters to others. By 1972, he was a meteorology professor at MIT, where he developed computer programs to simulate daily weather forecasts. Since computer models operated on precise mathematical rules, Lorenz assumed that identical input values would always produce identical output results. However, during one simulation, he rounded off a tiny decimal value at 0.506127, reducing it to 0.506. To his surprise, this minuscule adjustment resulted in completely different weather predictions. After thoroughly inspecting his computer, Lorenz found no errors, except for this seemingly insignificant change. He realized that even the smallest variations could dramatically shift long-term forecasting models. His research gained recognition in the 1970s and 1980s, forming the foundation of chaos theory and introducing the concept of sensitivity to initial conditions, now known as the butterfly effect. Lorenz explained that a butterfly's wing beat could trigger slight atmospheric shifts, potentially delaying or accelerating the formation of a tornado thousands of kilometers away. Of course, beyond the butterfly's movement, countless larger forces with far greater kinetic energy also influence weather patterns. In 1991, the Kyoto Prize Committee praised Lorenz's discovery as one of the most profound shifts in humanity's understanding of nature since the time of Isaac Newton. Despite receiving numerous scientific honors, Lorenz never won a Nobel Prize in his specialized field of meteorology. He passed away at his home in Massachusetts on April 16, 2008. Today, the butterfly effect extends far beyond mathematical models and weather forecasting. Many believe that nothing happens by chance, and every event has a reason. Seemingly insignificant moments or unnoticed sequences of events can shape the future, allowing us to rewrite history and craft new destinies. A single gunshot that set the world on fire, leading to 2 world wars. It all started with a wrong turn that ultimately ignited World War I. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife traveled to Sarajevo to inspect the military, despite warnings of an assassination plot. A group of extremists lay in wait on the main road. As the royal convoy crossed a bridge, a young man hurled a bomb at the Archduke's car, but it bounced off, wounding 2 attendants instead. Rather than retreating after the incident, Ferdinand chose to visit the injured officer at the hospital. However, his driver mistakenly took the wrong route, unknowingly leading the Archduke straight into the path of Gavrilo Princip, one of the failed assassins from earlier. Seated at a cafe, Princip seized the unexpected moment, pulled out his pistol, and shot Franz Ferdinand, a single act that triggered World War I. Many argue that the assassination would never have happened if the driver hadn't gone the wrong way. What followed was a catastrophic chain reaction. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, prompting Germany to declare war on Russia, pulling Belgium, France, and Britain into the conflict. By the logic of the butterfly effect, World War I might never have occurred if Franz Ferdinand hadn't been assassinated, and the assassination wouldn't have happened if his driver hadn't taken that wrong turn. A series of seemingly insignificant actions cascaded into a global tragedy, costing millions of lives. If a single fatal gunshot ignited World War I, an act of mercy would later become one of the forces behind World War II. On September 28, 1918, during a battle between British and German forces in Marcoing, France, British soldier Henry Tanday spared the life of a wounded German soldier. 20 years later, in 1938, as Britain made a final attempt to prevent another world war, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain traveled to Germany to meet Adolf Hitler. During his visit, Hitler invited him to his mountain residence in Bavaria, where the walls were adorned with numerous paintings. One artwork caught Chamberlain's attention. It depicted a battlefield scene from 1914 in England. Hitler explained that among the figures in the painting was British soldier Henry Tanday, the very man who had spared Hitler's life. The painting was a replica of an original by an Italian artist, displayed in the Green Howards Museum, where Tanday had served. When World War II broke out, this event became a heavy burden on Henry Tanday's conscience. Asked about his decision to let Hitler live, he expressed deep regret. "I didn't know what kind of man he would become. But when I saw innocent people being slaughtered by Hitler's cruelty, I prayed for God to forgive me, for letting him live. No one could have imagined that my choice to spare a man on the battlefield in World War I would lead to the deaths of 60 million people in World War II." The butterfly effect in business. Nearly everyone around the world recognizes the Toyota brand, a symbol of Japanese pride. But few know that Sakichi Toyoda, the founder of Toyota, started his career as a carpenter. During a chance business trip to the United States, Toyota noticed that American roads were filled with cars, a stark contrast to Japan, where automobiles were scarce. At the time, Japan was importing nearly 800 Ford vehicles, a fact that wounded Toyota's national pride. Determined to change the status quo, he set out to produce Japan's own automobiles. Toyota wasn't the only visionary. In his book Made in Japan, Akio Morita, co-founder of Sony, recounted how, in 1946, he and his colleagues were mocked by both Japanese and Americans for their ambitions. Back then, the phrase "made in Japan" was synonymous with low quality, making it seem impossible to sell Japanese electronics in Europe and the US. But through relentless perseverance, both Sakichi Toyoda and Akio Morita proved the world wrong. Today, the Made in Japan label is globally respected, reassuring consumers across Asia, Europe, and America of top-tier quality. Toyota and Sony became Japan's butterflies, whose wing beats transformed the nation's industrial legacy. South Korea has its own inspiring tale. The story of Chung Ju-young, founder of Hyundai, continues to deeply inspire generations. Born into a poor farming family, Chung never finished elementary school. He ran away from home 4 times, working as a railway laborer and construction worker, before overcoming the odds. Against all expectations, he played a pivotal role in transforming war-torn, climate-challenged South Korea into a thriving economic powerhouse. The ambition and resilience of a single farmer became the butterfly's wing beat that helped reshape an entire economy. In the US, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was once dismissed as a fool and a madman in 1976, just before launching the Apple I computer. At the time, few could have imagined that the so-called clown, working from a cramped and overheated garage, would go on to build a technological empire. Reality proves that a butterfly's wing beat can inspire countless others to take flight. Toyota, Sony, Hyundai, and Apple weren't just beginnings. They became pillars that strengthened countless other brands, paving the way for innovation and success. Transforming your life through the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is a concept with profound significance in scientific research. But in everyday life, it can be understood through cause and effect. For instance, even the smallest act of kindness can lead to great happiness and unexpected fortune in the future. Similarly, a single thoughtful action can create a positive impact on those around you, sometimes in ways you may never realize. You can harness the power of the butterfly effect by making small, meaningful changes every day. One example is remembering people's names. This isn't just a courteous gesture, but a way to show genuine respect and sincere care. By embracing this mindset, even the smallest choices can help shape a brighter future. The power of a name, the butterfly effect in human connection. The book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, highlights the magic hidden within a person's name, emphasizing that no matter how simple it may seem, a name is deeply tied to a person's identity and joy. Conversations and interactions become more personal and meaningful when we incorporate someone's name, regardless of whether they are a waiter or a CEO. A name, when spoken correctly, creates a sense of belonging. Yet, for a leader managing a vast organization, or someone meeting countless people daily, remembering names long-term can be challenging. However, the American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Good traits are forged through effort and determination." This applies to memorizing names as well. It's a skill that can be cultivated with dedication. The butterfly effect in thought and action. From a spiritual perspective, the butterfly effect reminds us to be mindful in our thoughts, words, and actions. It encourages us to adjust our mindset and lifestyle, to recognize that even small changes can lead to meaningful transformations. More importantly, self-confidence plays a crucial role. You should never underestimate yourself or your potential. Life is full of unexpected turns, and even the smallest factor can reshape the world. And yes, you have the power to make an impact. So keep striving, keep evolving, and be a part of the positive transformation of society. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out our latest videos to support the team. See you next time.